Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Tosin is a Chelsea player. Finalized, formalized, finished. Finally, it's finished, guys. Many media duties have been done already. The interviews, the quotes, the shirt is on him already, and the pictures have been taken, as you can see on screen. 6'5" on a free from Fulham, and he, as he says, already made his debut here. You know, this was where it all started. He didn't live too far from Stamford Bridge, so he's already feeling at home. And what I like about him from first impressions is real men. This is real men. This is cold-hearted, no smiling, fixated on success, real men. This guy is here on some serious business. You can feel the maturity flowing through his veins. Like, he's arrived. I'm watching him on screen. I'm seeing the images, the videos, and I can see into his soul. I can see into his soul. Like, the way that he just exudes kind of just age is just crazy. We've had so many young players come through. So much players with lack of social awareness, immaturity, learning curves, just so much of the, so much of the mistakes that you expect from young, rich people in London. Tosin looks like he's had all of that already and done it. It's out of his system. He's just ready to do business. He looks like he's got a family. Looks like he's got a wife. Looks like he's got kids. Looks like he's got the house paid off. Looks like he just looks like he's on that. He's going to that gear that you go into as a guy where you're done with the Ibifas and the Ineoses of this world. Eos. He's also done with Ineos because they tried to hijack the move and failed miserably. But it's just a madness. Yeah, I just gathered that he was done with that lifestyle. He was done with Jackson and Snapchat, and he is going to come into this team and balance it out, is basically what I'm saying. We've needed leadership, we've needed a bit of maturity, know-how in this league, not throwing away leads, understanding and managing matches. I think he'll bring that to the table, as well as the set piece coach doing laps, doing dances for the fact that he's got a 6'5" defender who's got pace and can help him on defensive and attacking set pieces. Now, he also did mention that Sterling was integral and Cole Palmer was integral to him kind of getting a good vibe from the club before he signed. And that's good to see, that they're kind of helping us as agents in a way to finalize this deal and bring it all together. Now, he also did mention everything you expect, but I want to go through Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart's quotes first. They said they're delighted to bring Tosin to the club. Throughout his career, he showcased the maturity and defensive qualities. He's gained a wealth of experience in the Premier League in recent seasons. It does feel like our signings are linked in that way. Some of them, our targets, Elise, experience in the Premier League. Tosin, experience in the Premier League. Alvarez, who we are expected to make a move for in the coming days, confirmed experience in the Premier League. Its physicality, its height, and its experience in the Premier League is all the things that Pochettino actually mentioned that the team needs. Team's not tall enough. Team lacks experience. He did mention towards the back end when he probably got in trouble for talking and then got inadvertently mutual, termination of the contract. But he mentioned those tangibles. He mentioned those qualities that the team was lacking. A lot of players that are coming into the Premier League for the first time, learning to get to grips with the pace, the speed, the physicality of the league, the age, the lack of experience, the lack of evidence season on season to perform at the highest level. That is something that a lot of these players that we're going for have got some evidence of, at least. So it's a good change in pace from previous summers and previous windows in that respect. Obviously, he said that he's looking forward to working with Enzo, the manager. He's excited. I've developed leaps and bounds. I've become a man. Like I said, I can literally feel that radiating off of him. And established myself as a top Premier League centre-half. That's why I've joined Chelsea. Being a leader comes to me naturally. It's something that is required of a centre-back. It's an important responsibility. I want to come here and push the boys on as much as we can. This is something I love to read. I love to see. We know the team lacks leadership. And what I love about this signing is that it's not every player that you bring in that's experienced is going to work out. I also want to know what is the motivation for you coming here. I mentioned that previously. It's quite clear with him. He hasn't won before. He wants to win. He speaks about wanting to win the Champions League. That's like the holy grail for him. Obviously, we're not in it this season, but in upcoming seasons, we need to be in it. So the motivation for coming here is clear. He hasn't completed his career. He hasn't won everything he needs to win. But he's also coming with that leadership to hopefully guide others as well, whilst taking care of his own business, which is something that this team has lacked, is voices and a presence. And I think he's going to bring that. I'm quite confident that he's going to bring that, not only in stature, but also in mindset, which is absolutely crucial. There's no point having leaders if they also don't follow by their own example and make their mistakes and show their immaturity. You can't lead whilst doing that. People won't take you seriously. So yeah, that's everything. Listen, he's spoken about us being a huge club, full circle, born 3 miles away from Stamford Bridge, all of that kind of stuff. But I really wanted to zone in on the leadership. Now, before we go any further in this video, it is sponsored. Check this out.
Here we go.
Yep. Please, first question, proceed.
So, Matisse, can you tell us the reason for this deal taking place today?
Yeah, well, listen, of course, we're excited to partner up with Surfshark VPN. I think it's evidently clear that, we reached a point of entanglement last season in regards to the Wi-Fi, in regards to the broadband connection from our providers. It's not been easy. The games have been buffering before goals. The chat has been ahead of the curve in regards to the stream. And, it's up to us to do our due diligence and to be able to provide the football in a more fascinating, fluid fashion. So I think for me, it's a good deal. It's very impressive that we've been able to come to an agreement so quickly. And I'm looking forward to, using their facilities to provide you with the capability to watch the football.
That all sounds very good. But is it easy to set up? Is it easy to work?
Yeah, of course it's easy to use. I mean, listen, we're literally watching the football right now as we speak. And, with the link in the description, you guys can click. You can, use the code. And like I said, it's for everyone to enjoy, everyone to use in their own way. So for me, it's fantastic. And yeah, more than you can believe, we will be here. Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure. And yeah, listen, thank you for your time. Thank you. Welcome back. There we are. So appreciate Surfshark for sponsoring the video. I want to continue on these higher heights, and we talk about Chelsea and AC Milan being interested in Bulka, according to L'Equipe. Now, Bulka at Nice really had his first season last season as a regular starter, as a first-team goalkeeper. The season prior, he was not playing many matches at all. I think it was 2. This season, many matches, first choice, and we can really go and say, right, you're performing to a high level in a top league. Now, he led the league for clean sheets, 17 clean sheets in League 1 last season. He prevented 2 goals, or 2.0 goals, right? Which was ranked 7th in the league. I think Nice, maybe, not watching them, but want to give credit to their defence. If he's kept a lot of clean sheets, of course, the whole defence needs credit for that, because he hasn't prevented, say, 8 goals or 10 goals. So it tells me that the defence has also helped him out just as much as he's helped them. But he stands at 6'6", former Cobham Academy goalkeeper. Now, him standing at 6'6" with long limbs is a massive plus for me, because from a shot stopping standpoint, it reads like he's very good. But from a cross collection standpoint, huge. We're talking about redefining the spine. We're talking about giving this team some physicality and some height to defend and attack, but defend set pieces, which we was awful at last year. Absolutely horrendous. We lost the Carabao Cup because of it. A goalkeeper that can claim crosses is huge. We've had it with Petr Cech. We had it with Thibaut Courtois. We didn't have it with Kepa. We don't really have it with Petrovic at all. I think Sanchez is a bit better than Petrovic at it, but again, still not to the level I need. This guy eats up crosses. This guy is a crazy cross collector. And what that does for the mindset of the opposition to just say, oh, they got a goalkeeper that's more than willing to come and claim crosses. So that means now we need to have more outswinging crosses that are going away from goal, less threatening crosses, because otherwise he's just going to catch it and then they're just going to start a counter or a transition. So now that just embeds into opposition teams that we can't just stick it on the penalty spot. We can't just do these in-swinging dangerous crosses or put a man and block him. We're going to need to actually think of another way. And it helps with long throws. It helps with crossing in general and open play, set piece crossing, corners, of course, wide free kicks. So for me, it's absolutely massive that whilst we go into trying to find a brilliant passer of the ball or a line breaker, and if we actually go for this guy and make a serious bid, I'll go through the passing stats and we'll get into more detail. But goalkeeping wise, attributes on goalkeeping, key. Can you save? Can you collect crosses? If you can do those two things, then you're a goalkeeper, and then we can get to all the fancy things. So yeah, I like this target, but we're going to get into more detail if it actually becomes serious interest, as in not just interest, but we actually make a bid, because there was news earlier on in the week that Sanchez was going to be the first choice, which, you know, kind of doesn't really make sense, does it? So let's see how that all goes. But finally, we're going to end on Chelsea getting away with it. Many rival clubs will not be happy to see, but we have been allowed to sell our 2 hotels and training ground to ourselves to comply with FFP. Let me take you on a little bit of a story. So there was an attempt by the Premier League to close a loophole that let clubs use one-off profits from the sales of hotels, training grounds, or other tangible assets in their financial fair play submissions. That has failed, according to David Ornstein, the one and only. So that's the first thing. It's failed. They tried to close the loophole. It failed. Premier League clubs maybe were the reason why, but Premier League have failed in their goal. So that allowed us to then go and bring our losses from 166 million to 89 million, right? 166 million is a deficit over 3 years that you are not allowed to have, because it remains 105 million over 3 years. Premier League clubs that wanted to stretch the PSR threshold but for permitted losses to 135 million were defeated. Now, we still would have lost, because 166 million obviously is more than 135. So we still would have been in big trouble, even if that had gone through, if Premier League clubs had got their wish. However, they didn't. 105 million is what it remains, which means we really would have been in trouble by quite a large sum. And therefore, this means we would have had to sell more players, right? You're talking about trying to recoup around 60 million in terms of sales before June the 30th, right? If these training grounds and hotels didn't go through, which is a Gallagher guarantee and a Chalobah on top before maybe Broja and others. But then it is now at a point where Chelsea are under 89 million deficit, right? Because of those sales. So we're no longer in trouble for June. Obviously, we have got through that, but it is expected that Chelsea are still going to sell Gallagher, or try to sell Gallagher, try to sell Chalobah, Broja, Matson, etc., because they want to comply for 24-25, which is next summer, next June 30th. Chelsea want to be in the clear. We don't know where we're going to be European football-wise. Well, we do know we're going to be in the Conference League this season, and that's not bringing in a load of revenue. So we'll kick the can down the road, basically. Less spending if we're going to keep balance in the books, and also more revenue, which means Champions League football needs to be obtained. And when people say, oh, you know, it's unrealistic, it's not fair, it's not really about that. We need to be in Champions League for financial reasons, not just because I want to be or you want to be, or we need to be, because that's where the money is. So, like I said, you can make more money in the Champions League and actually winning trophies than you can not, because sponsorship money goes up, Jordan deal actually comes in, etc. So there is no way that this ownership or these guys are enjoying being out of Champions League or being out of Europe and thinking there's benefits to it because we can sell for 30 million Hutchinson when we brought him in for 5. You can do that whilst being at the top of football in terms of sporting. So we have to get our act together from a on the pitch standpoint. So financially, we don't have to talk about these things, because the fact that we're even in this mess is obviously not great. But we've kicked it down to next year, so we're fine now. We're good. We have no problems. But I still think sales are going to take place regardless, because, like I said, I just don't think they want to even be in the grey zone going into next summer and have this same conversation coming up. But if we just make top 4, that will help too. So yeah, it's over the last 3 years, 105 million is going to remain. We are now under it by a good, comfortable 15 million. And hopefully that's the last time we have to talk about it because we'll just be successful. So yeah, guys, make sure you smash up the likes, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys for another video. We're going to talk about centre-backs, right-side centre-backs in the next video, I believe, because we've got a lot of right-sided centre-backs, 4 currently on the books. But also we're going to discuss secret release clauses for certain players, because there are a few going through the woodworks, and I would like to discuss if you want those players at those prices. So like I said, smash up the likes, guys, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace.